All right, folks, it is Thursday. It is October 25th, the Lord's year 2018. It is about noon o'clock, and this is your Week 7 recap, your Week 8 preview, and your mid-season extravaganza blowout. It is I, your commissioner, tu commissionato, if you will, coming to you live from beautiful East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, in the land of the free, the United States of America. That's right, folks. I am back.
I'm back! I'm back!
I am back!
Woo! I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm back!
And I'm better than ever. We're going to jump right into it. Starting off with your Week 7 recap, let's get that out of the way. Let's move on past it. First up, we have Ryan defeating Reynolds, 190.7 to 163.2. Pretty good week for Reynolds, even though he lost to Ryan. Ryan's team is just very, very good, obviously. Ryan had big days from the usual: Phillip Rivers, Todd Gurley, Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt got him 34. Big day for Ryan. Over on Reynolds' side, nice day from Cam, got him about 30 points. Nice day from Marlon Mack, got him 33. Tariq Cohen, 18. Michael Thomas, 16. So pretty good day for Reynolds. Not good enough to beat Ryan, though. So Ryan moves on to 7-0. Reynolds moves on to 3-4. Up next, we have Cole defeating Coyle in the Coyle Bowl, 172 to 124. This one was no contest. Cole blew him out from the start. Cole had big days from Jim East, got him 21. John Brown got him 25. Zach Ertz got him 21. Everybody except for one guy, Frank Gore, got double digits for Cole. Pretty good day. Over on Coyle's side, nice days from Tommy Brady and Baker Mayfield. Each got him in the 20s. T.Y. Hilton got him 16. Nobody else hit double digits. You can't win that way. Cole moves on in this round. Moving on now to Jensen's 166 to Walter's 91. Big day for Gents. His boy Pat Mahomes got him almost 40 points. Joe Flacco got him 24. Emmanuel Sanders got him about 30. I think he threw for one the other night too. So nice day there for Gents. On Walter's side, terrible day. He had Sam Darnold got him 12. Osweiler got him 21. Adam Thielen got him 24. Nobody else broke double digits, so he falls under the 100 mark again this season. What are you going to do? Moving on now to Sokol's 157 defeating Danny's 123. Sokol had nice days from quarterbacks Matt Ryan and Eli Manning. Each got him about 24-25. Latavius Murray got him 21, filling in for Dalvin Cook. Jarvis Landry got him 20. A couple of different 15s thrown in there. Nice, well-rounded day for Sokol. Over on McCallan's side, his best player was really his Rams defense, who got him 23. Kerryon Johnson got him 21. Philip Lindsay 16. Kirk Cousins 19. Not great for McCallan, but I think he'll be all right. Now on to TJ taking on Patrick. TJ's 157 to Patrick's 88. Patrick actually scored better than I think we all thought he was going to in this one. He was projected at like 65 at one point, so that's not great. But TJ's quarterbacks Andrew Luck and Mitch Trubisky got him 28 and 38 points respectively. Lamar Miller got him 19. Mike Evans got him 17. So decent day there for TJ. On Patrick's side, Pat started one. Josh Allen, who was out, got him 0 points. Bilal Powell, who was on IR now, got him 3 points. Rob Gronkowski didn't make the trip. He got 0 points. Sonny Michel was doubtful, didn't play, got 2 points. Steelers defense had a bye. So there you go, Patrick. Nice job. Finally, last game of the week, lowest scoring game of the week, your commissioner 111 defeating Jack's 88. I had nice days from Carson Wentz, got me 23. He's found his form. James White got me 25, obviously. A couple guys in 11-12 range. Everybody else in single digits. So not a great day, but a win is a win is a win. Over on Jack's side, Drew Brees got him 18 points. AJ Green got him 18 points. Ben Watson got him 13. Everybody else is kind of a mishmash of nothings. 2 guys got him 0, both running backs. That stinks for Jack. He finishes at 88 points and drops down to 2-5. All right. Now we've run through our Week 7 games. It's time for everybody's favorite segment of the week. It is your Week 7 Power Rankings. Now keep in mind, I didn't send out Power Rankings last week when I was in España. So these trends that you see are really over a 2-week period, so they might seem a little high or a little low, but it is what it is because it was a 2-week difference. Top of the board, we got Ryan, obviously, TJ, Cole, and myself, your commissioner. We've been there for the 2 weeks now. In 5th place is now Jensen's, moved up 7 spots. 6th place is Patrick, moved up 3 spots. So that's your top 6 right now. Excuse me, Reynolds moved up to 6, moved up 3 spots. Even though he lost this week, he had a lot of points, would have beaten most other teams, so big week for Reynolds. Patrick stays steady at 7, Walter stays steady at 8. Sokol jumps up 2 spots to number 9. McAllen drops 5 spots to number 10. He's had a really tough couple weeks. Coyle drops 1 spot to number 11. And finally, Jack drops 6 spots to number 12. He might be the worst team in the league. Well, we'll see. All right, let's move on now to our weekly accolades. First up, we got our 1-2 punch.
Receiver is eating a bunch of those.
This one goes out to TJ's quarterbacks, Andrew Luck, Mitch Trubisky. They combined for 67.1 points together. They both had huge days. Really gave him the win this one, so nice job there. Our worst of the week.
The worst! She's the worst in the world.
Is going to go to Patrick and his team overall. Patrick played Josh Allen, who got 0 points. Rob Gronkowski, who got 0 points. Steelers defense, who had a bye. Adam Vinatieri, who got -1 point. So Patrick really struggled. And when I say struggled, I mean he's in Hawaii at this point in the season and didn't check his lineup at all. Finally, our MVP of Week 7 is going to
Only vegan pizza every game. MVP, most valuable pizza eater.
go to Jensen's Patrick Mahomes. No surprise here. Mahomes finished with 39.8 points. He had 358 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, with another 45 yards on the ground. Again, about 40 points, so nice day there for Mahomes. All right, now that we have Week 7 out of the way, let's take a minute and reflect on the first half of this beautiful YOLOFISHFFL season we have here. Let's start off with our mid-season awards. Each team's got one, kind of a symbolic, let's say, motto of what your season has been in your commissioner's eyes so far this year. We'll start with our breakout. This one's going to actually go to Cole Coyle. If you looked at Cole's draft, grade, you'll see that he was placed in 10th place with a draft grade of a D+. Since then, Cole is in 1st place of the Ashley Adams division, sitting at a very nice 4-3 right now, ready to make a push, almost a lock for the playoffs. So I'd call that a pretty good breakout. The complete flip side of that is the disappointment so far of this season, and that's going to go to big brother Connor. If you looked at Connor's draft grade, he came in 2nd. He had a draft grade of an A. We said trust the process. He had 1 million 5th-round picks. Well, folks, Connor this year, so far, sitting at 2-5 in the worst division in the league. He's like, I don't know, 9th in points for, something ridiculous like that. His team's just not good. What are you going to do? We're going to now go to our hangover, and that's obviously our boy Jack, who, after dominating the championship game last year, taking home the trophy, still sitting at home drinking out of the Champions Cup, finds himself in basically last place, the worst division in the league. He is terrible at fantasy football in 2018. But, c'est la vie. Let's move on now to grit play of the week, of the year so far. It's going to go to your commissioner here. Now, while I sit at 4-3, I've won my contests by an average of 9.9 points. That means that I beg and I plead and I blood and I sweat and the whole fucking thing to dominate each and every week. 10-point victories. A win is a win is a win. The other side of that is Walter. Now, Walter sits at 3-4, and he has an average variance in games of 23 points under. That means that he loses by an average of 23 points, which is by far the worst in this league. He gets blown out more than anybody. Next up, we have our hapless soul goes to Johnny Sokol. Johnny is 3-4 in the toughest division in the league. He's got a long road ahead of him, and to this point, Johnny has lost his games by an average of 6 points. That is a 6-point differential between winning and losing. That's Johnny Sokol for you in a nutshell this season. Next up, we have our easiest road to 6-1 that you'll ever see. This one goes to TJ. Thomas here has an average margin of victory of 26 points, but that's really due to his points against being 902 points, which is far and away the lowest points against in the entire league. Now, his points for is pretty much middle of the road, but that 902 points against being about 128 points against the game is terrible. Easy road to 6-1. I'm going to call this one your roller coaster tycoon of the year so far. It's been Jensen. Jensen won his first game, lost his next 4, has won his next 2, and he's now sitting at 3-4 going into this week, where he looks to be a push taking on Cole. He's about a 1-point favorite, actually. So if that keeps up, Jensen would have lost his first game, won his first game, lost 4 in a row, and then won 3 in a row to move on to 4-4. That shit's just wild. The other side of that is Patrick, who might have the best team Pat's ever had. Let's all be honest about that. But he's sitting currently at 3-4, and he's just apathetic about the entire thing in true Pat fashion. He's made 2 transactions all year. One was to drop an injured player, Mike Williams, and the other was to pick up a kicker during his kicker's bye week. His kicker, Will Lutz, by the way, who he had kept from last season because he didn't have any valid keepers. This week he didn't play half of his team, took the yell like a man because he knew that's what needed to happen, and to be honest, he might make the playoffs, so good on you, Pat. Let's move on now to our most basic team. When I say basic, I mean boring. That goes to Michael Reynolds. I couldn't find anything really interesting about your first half to this point to talk about. Reynolds' team is 5th in points for. They're 2nd in points against. He's made 7 transactions, which is like middle of the road. His draft grade was 9th. He's been as high as 2nd and as low as 9th in the power rankings. He's really just kind of there. I think he probably ends up making the playoffs because his team's not terrible. Right now he's sitting at 3-4. He's on top of the Kelsey Monroe division, but they haven't really done anything to make a splash, to do anything big time, to make a move. I think he needs to do that if he wants to really make a push into the playoffs. And finally, the last award I'm going to give out is the As We All Expected, and it's actually going to go to both Ryan and Danny. One's good, one's bad. If you take a look at our draft grades from the beginning of the season, Ryan was in first place in the draft grades, had an A+ draft grade, and his team has really panned out. He might set some real league records. He's on pace to score 4,000 points this year, which would be a league record for points. And he's really just dominating everybody that he comes across, averaging like 190 points a game. On the other half of that is McAllen, Daniel that is, whose draft grade was 12th. He got an F. I gave him a comment of yikes. And to this point, he's kind of lived up to that hype. He's 2-5. He's in last place of the Kelsey Monroe division. And he probably isn't going to make the playoffs again. So, as we all expected for Ryan and Danny, opposite sides of the spectrum. Now, all those awards being said, let's take a look quick at what your commissioner thinks are your top 5 keepers halfway through the season. Number 5, we have Ryan's Tyreek Hill with 142.5 points to this point. Really nice season so far for him. He was drafted in the 13th round by Ryan. Number 4, we have Cole's Jared Goff, drafted in the 14th round, put up 170.7 points at quarterback. Big time job there. Number 3, we're going to go to Jensen this time, quarterback Pat Mahomes, drafted in the 12th round. That whole thing last year where Jensen tried to keep him and tried to put him on IR and didn't understand why he couldn't play more than 4 quarterbacks, including him, the whole thing. Well, it finally paid off for Jens. Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback in the league right now. He's put up 243 points. Again, drafted in the 12th round. Great value. Number 2, we're going to go back to Ryan's team. Running back Alvin Kamara, kept in the 17th round this year, has 147.5 points on the season. Really a staple to Ryan's team. Now that might change in the second half now that Mark Ingram is back, but first half Alvin Kamara did great. Your number one keeper of the year, excuse me, of the midway point of the year, and I think he fell ass backwards into this one and didn't have any idea it was going to be like this. Walter Camacho's Adam Thielen, drafted in the 15th round this year, 166.7 points. He is the number, I want to say like 2 wide receiver in all of fantasy, just putting on an absolute clinic for everybody involved. Absolute fucking clinic. Number 1 wide receiver in all of fantasy. Unbelievable. Walter had no fucking clue what he was doing. He kept him, worked out. I think I had to convince him to keep Adam Thielen. But what are you gonna do? Worked out. All right, let's take a look now at our projected playoff odds, courtesy of Fantasy Pros here. It also gives you your projected record, your placement in the bracket, your seeding. So we'll see who you're gonna play and whatnot. No surprise here. Ryan's on top. He's got a 100% chance of making it. I don't think he's officially clinched the season yet, with 6 weeks to go. I think he would have to lose out, and Coyle, McAllen, Jack would all have to win out, and that kind of thing would have to happen. So I don't think he's actually clinched his playoff berth yet, but it probably will happen in 2 weeks from now, not this week, obviously. We'll get to that later. Second, we have TJ. Third, Cole. Fourth, your commissioner. Fifth, Reynolds. Wow, they really think he's going to bounce back and win four of the next 6. Sixth place, Patrick. Same thing. He's going to go 3-3. Seventh place, Jensen. Eighth place, Coyle. They think he's going to win 4 out of the next 6. So that'd be impressive. That, of course, would mean that Sokol, Walter, McAllen, and Jack would be playing for your toilet bowl. We still got to come up with a punishment for said toilet bowl, but we have a couple ideas rattling around. If you have any ideas, now's the time to do them. Right. Obviously, our team of the year to this point is Ryan's team, but he's got a pretty tough matchup this week. So that is your mid-season extravaganza. Everybody got awards. We went through keepers of the year, who's been doing well, who's been sucking dick, whatever it might be. We have our projected playoff bracket as it stands right now. All right, I think we're all good there. Moving on now to our division of the midway point of the season. This one should be no surprise. It's the Angela White division. It's got both Ryan and TJ, which makes them pretty fucking good. They combined for 13 wins. Go ahead and add in there Sokol, who's got 3, and you got 16 wins as a whole for the division. So Angela White, pretty good. Let's now move on to our Week 8 preview. I can get rid of that. Okay, let's start off with our kind of news and notes from around the league here. Melvin Gordon had a hamstring injury. He's day-to-day. Gronk had those back spasms, didn't play last week. He's also day-to-day, but he's probable to return in Week 8. Sonny Michael, doubtful for Week 8. Still got that left knee injury. Marshawn on IR. That sucks. Now, we had this question asked in the group. IR players cannot be picked up and then kept for next season unless they play when your games matter this season. Meaning that if you were to pick up Marshawn Lynch right now, and they brought him back for Week 16, you would need to be in the championship game of this team and play him in order to be able to keep him next year for like a 15th round pick. Just the way it goes. You can pick up guys like Kenyon Drake that are dumbly dropped by people like Walter Camacho and keep them for a 17th round pick because he's playing this week, no problem. So that's the difference. Leonard Fournette still out Week 8. They think Dalvin Cook is doubtful for Week 8. They say he's not going to come back until probably Week 11 after their bye. Tannehill's doubtful. Cooper Kupp doubtful to play this week against the Packers. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think so. Cobb and Geronimo Allison probably out, but those are the big names. If I missed anybody, I really don't care that much. The other news on the quarterback front, at least, is it looks like the boat, Blake Bortles, is taking regular reps at practice. So I don't know if they're going to go back to him or what they're going to do, but keep an eye on that if he's your quarterback. All right, let's take a look at our Week 8 rankings now. Keep in mind your Week 8 rankings here are how the league expects you to score, how the league expects your team to do Week 8. So if you're high on the list, you have a high percentage chance of winning. If you're low on the list, you get a low percentage chance of winning. What do you know? First on the list is Ryan taking on your commissioner. Interestingly, we're both near the top. Then we got Coyle, Cole, McCallan, Jensen, TJ, Reynolds, Sokol, Jack, Patrick, and finally Walter bringing up the rear. Quick look at our free agent auction report for this week. Jesus. Jack put $40 bid on Doug Martin, dropping Marshawn Lynch. The only unsuccessful bid this week was Cole, who also bid on Doug Martin. He bid $10, so Jack, you wasted about $29. Everybody else got their bids without any competition, so Jens got Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton? You put $20 on Cortland Sutton? He wasted $20. Ryan put $11 on Tyrell Williams. Jack got Danny Amendola for $10. Your commission got the Patriots defense for $6. Reynolds got Derek Anderson and the Cardinals defense for $2 and $0 respectively. All right. Now let's move on to our game-by-game preview for Week 8. We'll start off with the biggest spread, which somehow is your commissioner taking on Ryan, who's a 27-point favorite in this one. Really what it comes down to is Mike Clay, the guy that does ESPN stats and information, does all the projections, is an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. So Ryan is a 27-point favorite. Looks like he's going to dominate in every positional category. We'll see about that. Next up, we got TJ, who's a 17-point favorite taking on Sokol. TJ also will dominate in just about every positional category with the exception of the one running back. So this one should also be a blowout. But again, Mike Clay doesn't know shit. Then we have McCallan, who's a 14-point favorite taking on Reynolds. McCallan has the first two quarterbacks and running back. Reynolds has running back, wide receivers, and tight end advantage, so on and so forth. We're going to move through this one to Jack taking on Coyle, two of the worst teams in the league. This one should be about 100 to 104 final score. But ESPN has Jack as a 13-point favorite in this one. Coyle's still got a couple guys listed as on a bye, so once he makes those changes, this one might move closer to a push. Move on now to Walter versus Patrick. Patrick is a 5-point underdog in this one, but I'll take his team once he makes those corrections in his lineup that he needs to make, like the Josh Allens and whatnot. But Walter still does have Adam Thielen, #1 receiver in all of football, so he might have a chance in this one. Finally, in what's basically a push-em, it's a big battle in the Ashley Adams division here. Cole is a 1.7-point favorite, underdog taking on Jensen. They think this game's gonna be at 148 to 146. Pretty evenly matched. They each have like 6 or so positional advantages, so this one might come down to the wire, actually be pretty close. I think it'll all come down to probably Goff and Woods for Cole taking on the Packers, and Mahomes on the other side for Jensen, but we'll see how that goes. All right. I think that's all I got for you. What a show. We did our Week 7 recap. We did our mid-season extravaganza. We did our Week 8 preview. This thing's like a half hour long. We got some big-time fantasy football left this season in the YOLO Fish, okay? Literally everybody is still in it. The average winning percentage to get into the playoffs in this league is under 500. So if you're sitting at 2-5, you're sitting at 3-4, you're still in this thing. Don't worry about it. Ryan and probably TJ are the only ones that have really run away with it, which means we got 6 spots still available in the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So keep that in mind. Keep on trucking. Our trade deadline is in 2 weeks. Keep that in mind. If you're going to punt, it's time to start thinking of what you want, who you're going to sell, what you're going to get for them. Other than that, I think we covered everything. If I forgot something, let me know. Otherwise, that's all for now. Peace.